Have you ever had a total stranger just waltz into your kitchen, the place you work your whole life to pay for the spot that's supposed to be your safe zone, and tell you your fridge, of all things, is some kind of threat to the entire neighborhood? Yeah, me neither. Until I met Miss Clara Ainsworth. If you've been through anything half as absurd, or you just want to let me know where you're tuning in from, go on, drop a comment. I'd like to know I'm not the only one out here dealing with folks who seem to have wandered straight out of a satire. Anyway, I'm Arthur Jenkins, and up until last year, I was just living my quiet, retired life in Glen Haven, North Carolina, the kind of old tree neighborhood where people keep to themselves, wave as you drive by, maybe borrow a cup of sugar once every blue moon. I spent decades in IT wrestling with computers more stubborn than most people. So when I finally retired, I was looking for nothing but peace. Bought a little ranch house on Primrose Lane, kept things orderly, shirts, color-coded tools hung just right, and yeah, I'm a fan of gadgets. Not the flashy type, just stuff that makes life easier. So yeah, I've got a smart lock on my fridge. Laugh if you want. It kept the grandkids from sneaking snacks, helped me keep my food journal on track, protected the occasional block of cheese that cost more than my old car's transmission. Mostly, I just liked tinkering with new tech. Now enter Miss Clara Ainsworth, 2 doors down and across the street. You know the type permanent frown, the kind of smile that never reaches her eyes, and a way of talking like she's auditioning to be queen of suburbia. When I moved in, I noticed the glances, the, oh great, a black guy in our precious little enclave kind of vibe. She never said anything outright, but I could read between the lines. I'm polite, I mind my own, but I'm not blind. Things got weird on a Tuesday. I remember because I'd just gotten some Wagyu steaks shipped in from Japan, setting the fridge up with a custom temp zone, the kitchen door open to catch the spring air. I'm humming along to the Temptations, and suddenly, I turn around and there she is, standing right in my kitchen, arms crossed, looking like she smelled something rotten. And right away her eyes go to my fridge, not me. The fridge. What in God's name is that? She shrills her voice like a smoke alarm. I just gesture with my spatula. That's my fridge. Keep stuff cold. She isn't amused. Don't get smart, Mr. Jenkins. I'm talking about that contraption. I explain password-protected lock. No big deal. She steps closer, way too close, by the way, for someone uninvited. Security. What are you hiding state secrets in there? This is a respectable neighborhood. Her perfume hits me like a wall lavender with a side of entitlement. I try to stay calm, but you know how it is sometimes, that old familiar anger just simmers. Miss Ainsworth, it's my fridge, my house. What I keep in there is nobody's business but mine. Well, apparently that was the wrong thing to say. Your concern is the community's concern, she barks. What if there's an emergency? What if the paramedics need life-saving milk? What if that thing causes a blackout? Honestly, I almost laughed, but it wasn't funny, not really. She didn't care about the fridge. She cared that I was different, that I didn't fit her vision of Glen Haven. I told her as politely as I could, Miss Ainsworth, you're trespassing. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. She made a show of huffing out with this parting shot. This neighborhood will not stand for this, Mr. Jenkins. You haven't heard the last of it. And that's when I knew this wasn't about a refrigerator. This was about control and about me not fitting into her little world. After that, things got frosty. She never set foot in my kitchen again, but every time I'd go get my mail there, she was staring daggers from her porch. My lawn. If I so much as pulled a weed, I'd see her curtains twitch. Some days I'd catch her driving by slow as if she was casing the joint. Now I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction of a fight, no yelling matches in the street. But I did upgrade the fridge lock just out of spite. You know how it is. Most of the neighbors were decent, but everyone sort of tiptoed around Clara. She'd been terrorizing people with passive-aggressive notes and lectures for decades. Nobody wanted to poke the bear. About 3 weeks after her kitchen invasion, though, something happened. I came home one evening, arms full of groceries, and right away I could tell something was off. My fridge door cracked open. The smart lock gone, like ripped off by someone in a hurry. Inside my expensive steaks, that block of cheese, my meal prep containers all gone or smashed. It was vandalism, plain and simple, and theft on top of it. My first thought obviously was Clara. Who else would have the motivation or the nerve? I checked my security cameras, but she was smarter than I gave her credit for. No sign of her at the front or back door. Probably snuck in through the porch knowing my schedule. The police came, took a report. Didn't seem too interested. Do you have proof it was her? One asked. I told them about the threats, the trespassing, but without footage or a witness, there was nothing to be done. So standing in my kitchen, surrounded by the mess, I decided I'm not letting her win. Not her way. I'm not going to break the law or stoop to her level. I'm an IT guy. I'm a planner. If she wanted a Cold War, she'd get it on my terms. I started the Ainsworth file. Every run-in, every odd look, every time her car crawled past my house, I logged it. Every rumor I caught her spreading, documented. Then I started doing a little public records digging. Turns out Clara was a widow, lived alone, ruled the bridge club with an iron fist, and most importantly cared deeply about her reputation. That was the chink in her armor. Called up an old friend, Thomas, a sharp lawyer in Charlotte. He gave me the lay of the land, document. Cameras everywhere. Don't do anything she could twist against you. Let her hang herself with her own rope. I took it to heart. Upgraded the cameras. Covered every angle, doors, windows, even the garage. I wanted enough footage that if a squirrel so much as blinked at my place, I'd know about it. Then came the fun part, psychological warfare Ainsworth style. See, she loved being queen of the inactive neighborhood association. So I sent her an anonymous, very official-looking letter about minor infractions on her property, a crooked paver, a gnome with the wrong hat for the season. Watched her spend days obsessively correcting things nobody else could see. Then another letter about a suspiciously yellow patch of lawn suggesting she get a soil analysis. She started complaining loudly to anyone who'd listen about anonymous harassment. Most folks just rolled their eyes, but I saw Mrs. Davis, the sweet lady next door, fighting back a smile. Seemed I wasn't the only one who enjoyed a little poetic justice. I wasn't done. Started a rumor via another anonymous letter about reviving the Pride and Petals garden competition, a totally fake tradition. Of course, Clara seized it, made herself head judge, and started laying down rules so strict nobody could possibly meet them, especially not the new couple down the block with their wild flower beds. Her micromanaging started turning the neighborhood against her. People were muttering. Some, like old Mr. Henderson, started openly ignoring her. Then I got creative. Set up a free seed exchange on my lawn. Mostly normal stuff, but a few packets with harmless but invasive ground cover known to drive meticulous gardeners crazy. Soon her perfect lawn had mysterious weeds. A few beetles started showing up on her roses thanks to a windy day and some well-timed wildflowers. Did I break the law? Not once. Just nudged nature in a direction. Meanwhile, on the internet, I learned Clara was pretty active on local forums, bragging about her roses, complaining about neighbors, and hilariously about getting weird targeted ads. So I set up a little ad campaign, totally legal, targeted to her age group in our zip code. Ads for solutions to rose blight, modern etiquette for neighborhood leaders dealing with difficult garden pests. She started telling anyone who'd listen that her computer was spying on her, the neighborhood was out to get her, and yes, her garden was under attack by shadowy forces. By the time the Pride and Petals Day rolled around, the whole neighborhood was tense, but watching. Clara was wound up tighter than a drum. Her roses had spots. The lawn wasn't perfect. She was sure the world was against her. She marched the judges, her terrified bridge club around, loudly disqualifying any garden that didn't fit her endless rules. When they got to her own, the flaws were obvious thanks to a few little nudges from me and Mother Nature. She cracked. Accused me in front of everyone of botanical warfare, of sabotage, even cursing her soil. Her face went red, her voice wobbled, and the neighbors, well, they just stared. Mr. Henderson, God bless him, finally spoke up, told her that was enough, that I'd always been a good neighbor, and maybe she ought to take a breath. Even Mrs. Davis chimed in, gently reminding Clara that pests happen to everyone. Clara looked around and realized nobody was on her side. She just wilted, mumbled something, and hurried into her house, slammed the door. After that, the spell was broken. She barely came out for days. When she did, she moved fast, kept her eyes down. Nobody bothered her, but nobody listened to her either. The for sale sign went up on her lawn a month later, and just like that, Clara Ainsworth, self-declared Queen of Glen Haven, was gone. A young family moved in, kids playing in the yard, bright toys everywhere, and nobody caring about the color of the paving stones or the type of flowers. The neighborhood was at peace again. My fridge was just a fridge. No more drama. So yeah, that's my story. Sometimes the best justice isn't loud or angry. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, a little bit sly, a slow burn that lets people undo themselves. If you've ever dealt with a neighbor like that, let me know down below. Do you think I went too far, or did Clara get what she deserved? What's your line when it comes to standing your ground in your own home? Let's hear it. What's right, what's just, and what makes a community a community?